So, today is again an episode without a video, as so often, and the other one that I'm gonna upload today, so it's gonna be 2 videos today. The other one is gonna be with a video, but for the sake of time and for the sake of convenience and everything, I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna talk a bit about thoughts and thinking and in the end, fundamentally being able to change your life with your thoughts quite, because something that I've realized and something that's utterly interesting and utterly important to also think about and keep in mind is that let's put it in that way, I can see meaning in something, for example, let's take learning. I have to learn something for school. Then I'm gonna do that. And it is something that I have to do. It is something that I make myself do. And it is something that I find meaning in. Probably because I have to do it. And because there is a reason why I'm doing it. Because I'm gonna have this test. Because I'm gonna have this exam. Because I'm gonna have this thing that I have to write. This article or whatever it might be. But if I'm learning something in my leisure time, my private time, there is no reason quite for me to do so. At least, well, it depends on how you think about it. Of course, I can give myself a reason that is sensical, that makes sense, that is important, and that makes me do that, and that makes me feel like that there is meaning behind learning this or that and the other thing. Maybe just the expansion of job opportunities, maybe the ability to, just do something better that is gonna change your life. But in the end, it's just only and truly depends on how you think about it and how you're viewing it and which perspective that you're having towards this particular thing. And the problem is that I'm quite struggling with that at this point in time. I am only finding myself in a place of being unhappy where I am. When I'm at work, I think about work and I actually don't want to do that. I'm looking forward to the weekend. But when it's the weekend, then I feel like, well, I'm bored. I want to do something. I feel not really challenged. I don't feel like fulfilled in the end, which is a really bad place to be in, because no matter what I'm doing and what I have in mind, I don't feel fulfilled. But this is only based on how I think about these things. Because as I said, I can do something for school and there was meaning behind that and there was a reason behind that and I thought that it is important, but when I'm choosing the exact same thing and I'm doing it in my leisure time, then all of a sudden it is not something that is of importance. It is not something that I consider having to do, that I consider meaningful. And in the end, it's on one hand pretty amazing, and on the other hand, it is a bad position to be in. It is amazing because I can just change things and I can make things meaningful and beautiful and worth doing by seeing it in a different light. But on the other hand, I can also make things not worth doing, ugly and just unnecessary to do and unintelligent to do, because I think about it in a certain way. And the challenge there is to shift this view and also believe in it. Of course, I can say okay, I'm gonna view things in a different light and I'm also just doing it for a second, but in the next second I'm gonna fall back into this old belief, which I think is pretty common. I think that we like the comfortable place of thinking and doing the same things, even though they might be destructive and even though they might be, they might be hurting you in the end. But we're still doing them because it is something that we've always done. And as I've also, I think, been talking about it yesterday, it is just in general a dumb thing to say. Okay, I'm gonna do this particular thing just because I've always done it. Or I'm gonna do this particular thing in this way because I've always done it in this way. This doesn't make any sense. There is no sensible reason behind that. Why? would you do that? Why? Does that make sense? Because it doesn't. It doesn't, because people have been doing a certain thing in a certain way, but who says that this is the most optimal way? Who says that it is the most efficient way? Who says that it is the fastest way? Quite nobody. Maybe it is proven, maybe they have tried it out, and this is the reason why they're doing it in that way. But of course, things change over time as well. Back in the days in 1950, a certain way to mine coal might have been the most efficient, the fastest, and the best way. But nowadays, with new machinery, ever-changing technology, and ever just evolving technology, this particular way they're doing it right now might not be the most efficient one or the most effective one. So also changing that, I think, makes sense. Also just considering my job. Okay, they're doing it in that way and I'm doing it in that way, but could I change it? Could I improve it? Could I make it better? Who knows? I think I could, to some degree. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, coming back to the whole thought thing, I do always want to say that, the typical saying, the power of your thoughts, and, several books that are titled in a similar way. I actually don't want to title the video or the podcast in that way, just because it is so, maybe not cliche, but overused. And I restrict myself from kind of doing things that are overdone, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but yeah, watch your thoughts and watch in the end also the way or the things that you're surrounding yourself with, because they are gonna ultimately dictate your thoughts, and dictate your behavior, especially when it comes to people. But I wouldn't give so much weight or so much importance to people alone, but also to the media that you're consuming, because in the end we are always surrounded by media, and we are also surrounding ourselves with media all the time. Might also be an idea to just not be surrounded by media all the time, to have a few days a week or one day a week where you're just not consuming anything, but maybe only doing. Of course, it's going to be difficult because you're going to have so much time, which, by the way, is also something that I'm seeing. Something that's pretty interesting. Like, the longer the day gets, the closer it gets to me going to sleep, the better I feel. And I don't know yet why. I have to figure that out. Maybe it is because I now feel kind of the urgency to do something, or I see the opportunity to be able to do something. I could now be doing something, whatever it might be, something sensical. I could be doing something, but when it is the evening, I feel like, well, I have passed the whole day, and now I can relax and enjoy some, more or less, not that cynical things. Like, I don't know, watching a movie. Sometimes I'm just doing this, once a week now. I'm having an additional day of relaxation, so I'm probably also gonna watch a movie today. Even though it's like, why? And this is something that Jordan Peterson is talking about as well, or was talking about as well. Why would you be doing something that is gonna leave you feeling worse than before? Doesn't make any sense. Really doesn't. Of course you could put this into different places. This thought, for example, I don't know, after you have worked out, you maybe are gonna feel worse than before, just because you're not having the energy anymore. You are crushed because you have overdone it, and so on and so on and so on. But then we could also talk about overdoing it. Life is complicated. Things are complicated, and I have kind of to mix it up even more. I have also thought about definitions of words and definitions of fields quite as well. For example, saying like, okay, I am left-winged or something like that. So what is the definition of being a left-winged politician, or just considering yourself one, or considering yourself leaning more towards that space. What is that space? Do you really? And in the end, I think that a lot of people are going to come to the conclusion, and also I am going to come to the conclusion in various fields that this particular definition might not exactly what I mean. And so in the end, it kind of creates a space of people being quite nothing. Of course, there's going to be some people that completely identify and 100% identify with a certain definition of a certain word or a certain group or a certain thing. But I can imagine that I don't even imagine, but I know that is not going to be 100% of people. So in the end, it's like, I don't know, if you're fighting, or if two maybe how should I put it, if two groups of people that seem to have opposite perspectives on different topics or different things, they shouldn't be fighting because of a singular word, like, okay, I'm left-winged and you're right-winged, so let's fight because you're this and this is the opposite of that, and it changes if these two people think about the definition of what this is, and in the end, when it comes to, okay, I'm actually not left-winged, I'm like just agreeing with these things and with that things and whatnot, and the other person is like, okay, I'm also not really right-winged, but I just agree with these certain objectives that these politicians are having. Like, in the end, it's dumb to fight about or to fight because of words and because of labels. Yeah, this is what I mean, labels in the end. Of course you can fight, hopefully verbally and not just physically, about certain viewpoints and whatnot, but why should you be doing this when it comes to labels? It's just a label. It's just what it is. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make too much sense, I think. But in the end, I do once again wanna underline the importance of thinking about your thoughts and thinking about the things that you're surrounding yourself with, even though, it is something that a lot of people have been thinking about, but I want to give it a kind of slightly different meaning, quote unquote. As I said, we can change a lot of things. Like, we are powerful mentally if we are mentally powerful. Like I don't know, it might even be even more important than I thought before to figure out things that are going on mentally in you. There's always going to be some things for some people they are struggling with, whether it is some childhood traumas, whether it is something else. But it might even be more important to, at this point in time, to work on these things. Also because, of course, they're gonna quote unquote change, or they affect you also physically. So this is also something to consider, like the mental and physical connection, or body and mind connection, which, it's there. You're thinking and therefore walking. Quite, you're not walking and therefore thinking. But yeah, I think that I'm going to end the episode there. I do hope that I've been able to share some thoughts and share some maybe even topics. It depends on how you think about it once again. That can lead you to think about some other things or something. But yeah, I hope we're going to see you next time. But please take care of yourself and your family members and all of your loved ones. And yeah, be grateful for them and be grateful for what you're having. Nothing without, I don't know. Gonna see you next time, so bye-bye.